Welcome to Level 2 Success Principles. In this video, we're going to make a very quick recap on the success principles from Level 1, and I want to give you 2 pro tips. So this video is actually focused on those 2 pro tips. Now, why am I giving you those tips now? In my experience with over 3,000 coaches, I have noticed that not everyone is ready for those principles. They are very simple, yet we know that greatness lies in the simple things. So, if you are going to apply those 2 principles, you are more than a game changer. You are someone who will gain momentum in achieving their goals. Let's recap the 4 principles and see what are those 2 pro tips for productivity. The first principle was environment. Declutter the environment where we work with and make sure we surround ourselves with people who support us. So this is both physical and social environment. For the physical environment, I suggested that you design a fortress, a place where you work, which is organized enough so that you don't get distracted, and surround yourself with people who support you. Here, I would like to remind you that you might have some chaos, but not where your working space is, because this will take away from your mental attention and focus. In terms of surrounding yourself with people who are supportive, in the guidebook of Level 2, I have included a bonus material on nonviolent communication, which will help you express your needs and feelings in ways that invite others to help you achieve your goals and to be supportive. Because you need the support of your closest family and friends, and they might have great intentions, but just not act in ways that are very supportive for you. So you either invite them to support you or restrict their influence on you so that you can concentrate on achieving your dreams. Success principle number 1, environment. Success principle number 2 is a starting protocol. We know that it's difficult to start action. So I suggested before you start working on your goal or any important endeavor, spend 3 to 5 minutes on some intense exercise, then do the visual focus exercise, and finally write down what you're going to work on today. Here comes my first pro tip. By the way, if you're not sure what the starting protocol is, I'm going to link the original videos to this one so that you can watch it. Now, here is my first pro tip. In the morning, when I start my first block, which I dedicate to my strategic goal or most important work, prior to starting work on this, I do 30 to 40 minutes routine tasks. So for about 15 or 20 minutes, I do the laundry, I do some cleaning, I do some housekeeping activities. Then, for about 15 to 20 minutes, I reply to emails and get done routine tasks like marketing, which don't require creative energy. Why do I do this? Well, in the morning, we are really geared with a lot of dopamine and adrenaline to do routine tasks. Yet, we need to use our best energy for strategic tasks. And sometimes when we start with strategic tasks, that's kind of a very steep road we are going. If, however, we start with some routine tasks and we gain momentum, it's much easier to then get into strategic tasks. Pro tip number 1, after your starting protocol, do some routine tasks and then move to strategic tasks, especially in the morning. This will gain momentum, but it has another added value. In working with a lot of young people, I have been astounded at the things that take away from their energy. I've heard young people getting late for a job interview because they have nothing to wear, because they have not done laundry in like 20 days or 10 days. I have heard of young people who have missed important calls, even from clients, because they cannot find their phone. And something that I think younger generations are not paying enough attention is mastering your environment. You don't have to be a control freak. Indeed, mastering your environment allows for more spontaneity, for more creativity, and for more party time if you wish. But this block of routine tasks is in order to help you master your environment in a way that you're not overwhelmed with small, insignificant tasks. And I cannot emphasize enough the importance of this. There's even a TED talk on how making your bed can change your life, which I'll also link in the comments. Okay, we went over the first two success principles: environment, starting protocol, and my first pro tip. In the morning, do some time of routine tasks to master your environment and gain momentum for strategic tasks, which gets us to success principle number 3, having an open mind, which means don't disregard something that I'm saying. Try it with an open mind and try it for at least 3 to 7 days, which leads me to pro tip number 2. Pro tip number 2 is a quote that I love from leadership coach Robin Sharma. Change is chaotic at the beginning, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. Way too many people, when they start with a new behavior, they expect to see glorious results right afterwards. However, every time we start with a new behavior, because it is a new behavior, in the first few days, it's more difficult, more chaotic, and it's not working in the way that we expect. And this is the norm. This is how life works. Yet we expect to see the gorgeous change the first time we do it. This is not how it works. It doesn't happen like this in life, and it doesn't happen like this in nature. And you're more than welcome to research this principle or this pro tip. So here is the pro tip. Embrace the fact that when you start with a new behavior, it won't work as you expect from the beginning. When you make peace with that fact, when you internalize this understanding, you are much more likely to sustain action until you get to the gorgeous change. And I believe it's like this with everyone. Imagine learning how to dance. Unless you're a supernatural talent, the first few times won't be gorgeous. Actually, it's even if you're a natural talent, the first few times won't be gorgeous. But the next time you do it, and the first year, and the first 6 months, amazing. Sustain action until you see the change. That is pro tip number 2, which leads us to the final success principle: schedule and track. Make sure that you schedule the time that you're going to work on your linchpin goal and all strategic priorities related to your goal. And also make sure that you track. What are you tracking? You're tracking 3 crucial elements. First, you're tracking how much effort you're spending on your goal. Exactly. If you spend only 20 minutes on your goal, we have a serious problem, and we need to address discipline and we need to address energy. So you're tracking how much time you're actually spending on working on your goal, and you're celebrating every time you do more, or you do more than just the bare minimum. That's very important. Track and celebrate. The second thing we're tracking is the way you feel. If you feel down, if you feel apathetic, if you feel like a bit depressed or lacking confidence, we need to address that. And that goes into our internal obstacles video. And finally, we're tracking actual progress towards your goal. So you're tracking whether you're getting closer to your goal, because if you're not, then maybe you need to change what you're doing. The 3 things we're tracking are time spent on goal, how I feel, and progress towards goal. I'm going to slightly repeat this in the first goal setting system video, and I know it might sound repetitive to you, but let me tell you something. I have taught those principles to way too many people. And if there's one thing that I've seen for sure, is that everyone who applies them gets success. Maybe they don't get to their goal, but they go beyond their goal. So I cannot wait to see you in the next video, and make sure you start applying those success principles and the 2 pro tip. The first pro tip: routine work before strategic work. The second pro tip: wait at least for 3 to 7 days until you start reaping the rewards of your new behavior. See you in the next video.